What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life to the fullest today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Nissan Murano SV Midnight Edition. Huge thank you to Oscar Melara over at Safford Nissan of Fairfax, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular Murano or any Nissan product, I'll be sure to have Oscar's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. All right, you know how we do it around here. First, we're going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Nissan Murano SV Midnight Edition. And this particular one has been painted in the optional $395 Boulder Gray Pearl exterior paint, which in my opinion matches very nicely to the Midnight Edition. But basically, I wanted to preface this video by saying this Murano, as you see here, is the last year for this generation because there is a redesign coming for the 2025 model year. So you may be able to pick up a 2024 model year, you know, April, May of next year for a really good deal with the impending, again, 2025 model year redesign for the Murano. But like usual, I'm going to start with the headlights, then I'm going to work my way down and around into the back end of this vehicle. So as standard with the SV, you get LED headlights with high beam assist, as well as LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, and LED fog lights. Now, taking a step back and to the left, let's take in the entire front end of this vehicle. In my personal opinion, I think this is a pretty sharp looking SUV. But you know, this body design and you know the interior has been around for quite some time now, so it's about due for a refresh. But like I mentioned, this vehicle has been optioned with the $1,590 Midnight Edition, and essentially what you get, at least up here at the front end with the Midnight Edition, includes a gloss black front grille as well as a gloss black lower trim piece, which is what this piece is down here that runs all the way across your front end. Now, coming back up just a little bit, at the center of your gloss black grille, you have your Nissan logo. And then coming down just a little bit, even if this wasn't a Midnight Edition, this piece right here on the SV is always gloss black. Again, even if this wasn't a Midnight Edition, this would still remain gloss black. And then you also get 4 forward-facing sensors on the front end of this vehicle, also as standard with the SV. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get a satin black front grille, which is what this piece is right here. You also get a body color trim piece, and then you have a satin black valance all the way at the bottom of your front end. And with that satin black valance and the SV, you get a total ground clearance of 6.9 inches. And, you know, rather capable, but probably on the lower side of ground clearance, honestly, for SUVs. But I still think you'd be totally fine going through some snow with this thing with some nice tires on it. Working my way down the side, you get these satin black wheel arch moldings, and again with that Midnight Edition, you get these 20-inch gloss black wheels wrapped in 235/55 Bridgestone Dueler HP Sport all-season tires. Here's a closer view of these wheels. Here's a closer view of the tire tread right there. And then also with that Midnight Edition found behind all 4 of your wheels and tires, you get these black splash guards. So that comes a part of the Midnight Edition right there, those splash guards. But anyways, coming up again, here's a 3/4 shot of this thing here at the front. Also with that Midnight Edition, you get gloss black mirror caps, and as standard, these side view mirrors get integrated turn signals, and they are heated, manual folding, and you get your blind spot monitoring on the inside of the mirror, which is about right here. That is where you'll find your blind spot monitoring. And then about right there is where you'll find the blind spot monitoring for your passenger side view mirror as well. Now let's do a little side profile shot of the Murano SV Midnight Edition. So at the top, you will find the black roof rails. Those black roof rails come a part of the Midnight Edition. And then what also comes a part of the Midnight Edition here on the side are these gloss black body side moldings, which is what this piece is right here, where normally I believe it'd be like a gray or a chrome if you didn't get the Midnight Edition. And then you also get chrome window trim with this vehicle, which is kind of interesting. I would have expected the Midnight Edition to have black window trim. Then you also get chrome door handles with keyless access. Just keep in mind, the keyless access functions are only on your front 2 door handles. And then coming down, like I said, with the Midnight Edition, you get these splash guards. So you get a splash guard in front of your rear wheel and tire. And you also get one here at the back as well. You also get a fuel door. Your fuel door is right here, and you do have to open up your fuel door here from the interior. You pull back on this right here, and that gives you access to your fuel door. That is what your area looks like behind the fuel door. You still have to twist that off in order to get that off. And that's about it for that fuel door. You can see that trim piece goes all the way back to here. And then coming up top here, you get a body color shark fin antenna. All Murano SVs get a gloss black roof spoiler, which is what that is right there. You have your integrated third brake light right here. You also get a rear window defroster. You have your rear wiper right there. And with the SV, you do get LED taillights also as standard. And then speaking of the Midnight Edition, I know I keep referring to it, but that is because you get a lot with the Midnight Edition here on the exterior. So basically here at the back end with the Midnight Edition, you get black badges, some black trim, and the Midnight badge. So all of these badges are blacked out. You get this black trim piece here with the Midnight Edition, as well as this black gloss black trim piece down here as well. Nissan logo located at the center. Coming down just a little bit is where you'll find your backup camera. That is also standard. And then with the SV, you get a manual lift gate as standard. So all you have to do, put your hand underneath here and pull up, and the lift gate will open up. I know it's so difficult in the age of everybody having power lift gates to pull one up yourself, but that is just, I guess, one less thing to go wrong. Now, taking a look at our trunk area, you get a considerable size trunk, which is always nice to see. But this vehicle has been optioned with the $345 Midnight Edition carpeted floor mats, as well as the carpeted cargo tray. So this is the carpeted cargo tray. All of this, and this are, again, are $345. And then you can see it says Murano Midnight Edition on there. That is what these floor mats look like. So yeah, that's about it for the options back here. On the passenger side of your trunk area, you get a 12-volt power outlet. You can also fold these second row seats down by pulling on that and pushing forward. Give me a second. Kind of hard to do with just one hand, but you can see those fold flat. And then you get probably another 4 feet of storage space with those second row seats folded down. And then underneath this, you have your spare tire down in here. So that is what your spare tire looks like. Closing that back up, I'd say you could probably fit maybe 6 to 7 carry-on suitcases back here in the trunk space, and you'd probably get another 6 or 7 with those second row seats folded down. You get some fold flat storage space, like I mentioned. And that really about does it, other than these grocery bag hooks there. You get another grocery bag hook over there as well. That about does it for the trunk area. Closing that trunk back up, here is a rear shot of this vehicle. Coming down just a little bit, you can see you get 2 reflectors on the outsides of your rear bumper. Coming down just a little bit, you do get a satin black rear valance. You also get dual exhaust, and the max tow capacity of this vehicle is 1,500 pounds. So really not all that capable when it comes to towing. You could tow about maybe 1 or 2 jet skis. I know you could definitely tow 1 jet ski. 2 would kind of be pushing it just a little bit, but honestly, power-wise, I think you'd be totally fine pulling 2 jet skis. I think it comes more to the chassis and the frame and stuff like that when it comes to that tow capacity. But let me know what you think of the Murano so far. Are you a fan of the styling, or is it time for a refresh? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 that makes 260 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an Xtronic continuously variable transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 7.4 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 20 miles per gallon in the city, 28 miles per gallon on the highway for 23 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive. They do make an SV pretty much exactly like this that does come with front-wheel drive. However, if you wanted all-wheel drive, that is going to cost you an additional $1,700 over the front-wheel drive variant of the SV. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your support. I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos, so I would really appreciate it if you guys would take a second to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you think of this vehicle. The likes and comments look good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that helps my channel grow. But anyways, with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, like I mentioned a little bit ago in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, press on this button right here, and the vehicle will unlock. you can press that very same button and that will lock the vehicle. 2 beeps is locked, 1 singular beep is unlocked. Now to walk you through a couple of the functions on the key fob, starting from the bottom, you have your panic function, your unlock function, your lock function, and your remote start function. To remote start this vehicle, you have to lock the vehicle first and then press and hold on that button. So let's do that. Lock, press and hold. And that is what it sounds like when it fires up. This V6 actually sounds very, very nice. It kind of reminds me of like the old 350, 370Zs. And with an exhaust, I think this thing would actually sound pretty good. But anyways, maybe don't do that. Let's take a look at what the driver's side door panel has to offer here. So starting at the top, you get some vinyl wrapping. Then you get this gray trim piece here. You get some more vinyl here, and then you get a chrome looking door handle. All of this is black leatherette wrapped, or graphite as Nissan calls it. And then you get some accent colored stitching. Automatic up and down windows here in the front, but you do not get automatic up or down windows in the back. That is to restrict your passenger window privileges. You have your unlock and your lock functions, and then you have your power side view mirror controls all the way at the front. A little bit of miscellaneous storage space down there and a spot you can set a water bottle. And last but not least, you also get a speaker there as well. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, this vehicle has been optioned with the $1,590 Midnight Edition, and basically with the Midnight Edition here on the interior, you get these illuminated kick plates, so they do light up and they do say Murano with the Murano lettering. Sorry, I can't pick that up on camera all that well. But as standard with the SV, you get an 8-way power adjustable driver seat as well as a 6-way power adjustable front passenger seat. You also get heated front seats as standard. And then this vehicle has also been optioned with the $225 sport pedals. See if I can't get a better view of what those look like down in there. Basically an aluminum plate over them. They look very, very nice. And then this is what the interior looks like. These seats are very comfortable. And this is called the graphite leatherette interior. You get some accent colored stitching, a little bit of bolstering, and some nice padding for these seats themselves. But now stepping on into the interior, let's fire this thing up and see what the rest of the interior has to offer. So basically I'm just gonna start down here, and then I'm gonna work my way throughout the interior, and I guess without further ado, let's get into it. So down here, pull back on that. That is going to pop open your fuel door. This is going to pop open the hood. I think your fuse box is down in there. And then that is to turn your traction control system on or off. This is basically to turn your lane keep assist as well as a couple other driving assistance features on. Let you know that it is on up there. I'm going to click that button again. That green stuff goes away. And now that is back off. That is your trip reset button. These 2 buttons here are basically to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons. Coming down, if you flip this down, that gives you access into your manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. You can push the steering wheel away from you, you can bring it towards you, and then you can move it up and down until you find your comfortable position. Moving on from there, let's take a listen to our turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like on this vehicle. Not only is this your turn signal control stock and your high beam control stock, this is also your headlight control stock and your fog light control stock. So all the way up is headlights off. That is headlights automatic. That is parking lights on. All the way forward is headlights in the always on position. And then this is fog lights off. This is fog lights on. And that is that for that. However, if you have your headlights in the automatic position, but your fog lights on, your fog lights are not actually going to be on until you flip your headlights into the on position. And now the fog lights are on. So that is that. Zooming back out, this is what your steering wheel looks like. You do get a leather wrapped steering wheel. One thing I found kind of interesting is that the leather wrapped steering wheel actually feels like leatherette, and then the seats themselves feel like leather. Just kind of interesting and something I thought I'd point out because it is kind of funny. But yeah, zooming back out, like any other steering wheel, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen. That is what the horn sounds like on this vehicle. Now coming over to here, you have that button right there. That is to speak to the vehicle. And then this OK button is basically to switch between your different preset radio stations, as well as to go forward and or backwards on a track with your Bluetooth audio. Clicking on that phone button right there is going to pop up your phone screen on the infotainment system. And then these 2 buttons right here are to control this screen throughout there. That is your 7-inch digital gauge cluster, or 7-inch productivity screen is probably what I would call it actually. And then this is to switch you between your different audio sources, and then you have your volume controls down here. As standard with the SV, you do get adaptive cruise control. So over here are your adaptive cruise control settings. That is your windshield wiper control stock for your front windshield wipers and your rear wiper. And now going throughout this cluster, you have your tachometer on the left, also known as your RPM gauge, as well as your coolant temperature gauge. And then on the right, you have your speedometer and your fuel gauge. Coming over to here, that is your blind spot monitoring stuff. That is the time. That's not actually the current time. And then that is the ambient exterior temperature. That is the digital speedometer readout. Then you have your audio stuff here. Transmission status stuff, fuel range, and your odometer over there. Again, to control this screen, you have these buttons here. So clicking over to the right brings me into my XM stuff. Clicking over one more time, you get your drive computer, your fuel economy stuff, your driving aids. This is your tire pressure stuff, warnings, and then you have your different settings throughout here as well. So you can go into your settings, you press this OK button, and now you can control this screen with this button here. It's gonna bring you in between your different driver assistance stuff. All of these different things you can navigate throughout with this control here. And then to back out of that, you click that to the left, and then you can go back over to this screen, which is the one that I would leave my vehicle on, digital speedometer readout. Up top here, you get some leatherette wrapping, accent colored stitching, 2 HVAC vents, hazard button right there. Coming down just a little bit, again, this is the 8-inch infotainment system with wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto connectivity. You also get physical controls on both sides of the screen, as well as a CD up top there, or a CD holder. One thing about this vehicle is that it may look kind of old, but I can appreciate that. And the reason being is that every new manufacturer really is moving too futuristic. And sometimes I think they should take a step back and be like, okay, well, let's give them a little bit of the future, but also a little bit of the past at the same time, so we can get antiquated with what you're trying to go for. Because physical buttons, we like physical buttons. We don't like climate control stuff throughout the screen. We don't like, you know, the volume controls throughout the screen. We like physical controls. And if I'm not the only one who feels that way, let me know in the comments down below, because that's just how I feel. So over here, you have all of these controls. You have your phone control, audio control, volume control knob, your tuning knob over here. If you press and hold on this is going to bring you in between your different tone settings up top there. Then you have your camera button, brings you into your camera settings, back on a track, forward on a track, your back button, and basically this is your home screen. It's basically a very easy to use screen. You have one of these screens, this screen, and this screen as well. And then you have all your shortcut buttons down here, like your phone, audio, connections, info, and settings. We can go into info, see what you can see, your system information. You can see your vehicle data transmission. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, anyways, back out of that. I don't want to mess with that. Okay, whatever. Coming down just a little bit more, this is a dual zone climate control vehicle, and this is what the climate control system looks like when it is on. It displays the fan speed, the temperatures, temperature control here, temperature control over there, on off switch, and then all your different controls there. Push button, start button. You get a 12-volt power outlet, then you get an auxiliary jack, a USB-A port, and a USB-C port. If you wanted to go into like a manual shift mode, go into drive, flip that over to the left, push up to upshift, push down to downshift, and that is that. You get a little bit of storage over here, like my wind mic or wind muff thing right here. You get 2 cup holders. Then, like I said, you get heated seats as standard with this vehicle, high and low, so 2 levels of adjustability. And then you get a nicely padded armrest. Opening up your armrest, you get a little bit of spot. You could set like business cards, maybe a phone, and I would say 100% of my forearm fits down in there. So quite a bit of space in this center console here. Moving back over to here, you get a lockable glove box with a decent amount of space. You can fit what you need to in there. Closing that back up, again, that is lockable. Very nice to see nowadays. Then you get an auto dimming review mirror. You get a spot you could set your sunglasses. You have all your light controls up top here. Coming over to here, you have a little spot you could set like a thick paper product. Opening this up, vanity mirror, vanity light, and then this visor slides forwards and backwards depending on where the sun is shining. OPU panel for the driver. OPU panel over there for the passenger. This is what the passenger side area looks like, and that kind of about does it for this front area. A couple things I wanted to go over is that what you get as standard, basically you get an 8-way power adjustable driver's seat, a 6-way power adjustable front passenger seat, heated front seats, adaptive cruise control, a 7-inch driver display, a leather wrapped steering wheel, dual zone climate control, as well as the 8-inch infotainment system with wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. Like I said, this has been optioned with the Midnight Edition. I'll throw everything that you get with the Midnight Edition on screen right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to switch it. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen, and you can take a look at everything you get as standard, the couple options that this vehicle has, but basically I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Murano SV Midnight Edition is spec'd is $43,510. But before we get into the driving portion of the video, I do want to show you what we got going on in these rear seats. So let's take a look at what we got going on here in the back. So taking a look at the door panel back here, this is what the door panel looks like. You get a nicely padded armrest. Let's see how far the rear window goes down. Goes down to about right there. Some storage space and a spot you could set a water bottle. You also get a speaker, and then that kind of about does it. You also get a little light right there, so when it's at night you can still see where you have to roll your windows up from. Let me put this back up 1 second. That is that. And then this is what your rear seat area looks like. Again, you can fold these second row seats down, and yeah, that's what it looks like. Now let's take a look at the seat comfort. I'm going to recline these back just a little bit more, so pull up on this strap that's right here, and then you can recline the seat. Now taking a look at what we got going on back here, you get a center fold down armrest, nicely padded, 2 cup holders, a spot you could set your phone. You get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. I'm going to open up the door for better visibility in here. Then you get a dome light, a no poop panel, a spot you can set your dry cleaning. Coming down, another spot you could set a phone, a USB-A port, a USB-C port, 2 HVAC vents, seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. Same stuff over here on this side as well. Now, speaking of legroom and knee room, I am 5'9" and I am adjusted behind myself. I've got quite a bit of knee and legroom. Here's another view of my knee and legroom. And then when it comes to headroom, I've got plenty of headroom. Being 5'9", I think I could be 6'4" and still be comfortable here in these rear seats when I am adjusted behind somebody who is 5'9". But you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior of the Murano. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I'll see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now onto the driving portion of the video. Take a listen. Honestly, the way the CVT behaves with this is pretty good. However, I think they would probably sell the Murano better if it had an automatic. I mean, really, it would. And that's like my thing across, you know, with all their Nissan products. It's like they put a CVT in pretty much everything except for, what was it, the Pathfinder and the Titan, which they're doing away with the Titan and also with the Frontier. They're not doing away with the Frontier, but they also have a 9-speed automatic in that, which... Put an automatic in one of these, because I think it would sell a lot better. CVTs are just, they're CVTs. However, this one does behave pretty well. Like, it's not a terrible CVT. It's kind of like in the midst of like a CVT and an automatic. It'd be kind of in the middle. But, man, I prefer an automatic. But this one doesn't behave terribly, honestly. It really doesn't. I mean, the response of it, it's pretty good. But I don't know. I tend to prefer an automatic, even though this one's still, the CVT is not terrible. Now that I've got my complaints out of the way, this thing actually drives pretty dang well. It goes over bumps pretty dang well. The steering is pretty heavy, but I do appreciate that, because I believe this feels like a hydraulic steering rack to me, which is a good thing. You know, you get a little bit more steering feel. It's a little bit heavier, and I do like the heavy steering feel personally. I know some people don't. Some people want like a really light steering wheel, which I'm not really a fan of, because there's no steering feel to that. Even though in a tight parking lot, it makes it very easy. You know, one of those cars with loose steering or electronic steering rack, you know, makes it easy. You can turn literally with a finger, whereas this, you know, you got to put a little bit more effort into turning it. But I like that. Again, it's just the way that I personally feel. I like a little bit, you know, firmer of a steering feel. Seat comfort. The seat comfort is very, very good. Here's another little acceleration, normal acceleration. So far, the fastest I've been with this vehicle is about 50 miles an hour, and I think it is well insulated from the outside world at that speed. I have not been 70, full disclosure, I have not been 70 in this, so I don't know how this, sounds on a highway, but I would sound from, being at 50, I would say that it probably is pretty well insulated from the outside world. I love having a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6. That is one thing I really, really like, because it sounds really good. It's very basic, so when it comes to wear and tear and reliability, it should be pretty solid. You don't have any turbos to worry about or anything like that. I think it's got great power. It's got good getup. Sound system is pretty good as well. I was actually surprised at how good the sound system was for it being a standard sound system, so that's good. A couple other things is that simplicity is key with this car. It's very, very simple, which is a good thing for the long term. I love the physical controls everywhere. That is definitely something that I personally really appreciate. I think, with manufacturers nowadays moving more towards the screen, everything's focused on a screen. I personally really like physical controls, and I definitely like the physical controls here. That is always a win in my book. So physical controls are great. The V6 is great. The way that it drives and the comfortability is also great. It's just a great driving vehicle, and it's very simple, and I think this is something that would last a pretty darn long time. The only weak spot, and I couldn't tell you how reliability wise it would be the CVT, even though I still think the CVT would be pretty solid long term. But yeah, that kind of about does it for the video. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your support. I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos, like I've said before in the video. So I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the video, to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on the 2024 Murano. Is it time for a refresh? Let me know. But again, that's it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.